Hello everybody, welcome to Broadcast.gg Scrim Nights. My name is Ben Viglo, and I am joined today by Mushu Beef and Lemon Kiwi. Hello guys, how are you?
Hello.
Hello. Good to be here. Thanks for having us, Ben.
Yeah, no problem. Should be a good game today. Ungentleman Red versus Serto. So, Lemon, would you like to take us through this Ungentleman Red roster?
Well, Ungentleman Red or UG Red will be consisting of Scooty, the team captain, Rhino, Exile, Banana Bolts, Bullywug, and Fat Chop. So they've been together between 1 month to 1 year. I'm not sure who is new to the squad, but quite a bit of experience on their team. You're going to have to look out for Fat Chop. That is the main DPS player for the squad, and a lot of these other players flex around it. There's also Rhino, who's their designated Tracer player. I'm very excited to see how this player will perform against the Tracer from the side of Serto. So Mushu, tell us about maybe some key player matchups and a little bit about Serto.
Yeah, for Serto, they've been together for about 4 months now, and what's interesting about this team is they love King of the Hill, but hate about everything else. But in the bottom of that, making an exception, Junkertown, one of their least favorite maps. So we'll see if, again, we haven't shared this team information with the other side. We'll have to see if they have Junkertown come out in terms of the maps. But one person definitely to look for is the kind of, whenever you have a team form and you have the captains and co-captains, those are the ones that really kind of the team's built around. So we'll see if they really play around Monica and Sayori, that is on the Mercy and Zenyatta for their preferred heroes.
Oh my god, they have Sayori too. I'm actually deceased. So if anyone's played Doki Doki, they'll love to enjoy this Just Monica squad from the side of Serto. Mushu hasn't played Doki Doki yet.
Yeah,
He doesn't get the joke, but everyone else will, so it's okay.
Yeah. So it's gonna, yeah. I mean, so what's the lore? I mean, what are they gonna bring in that I don't know about in the situation?
I think that their performance will be hanging by a thread.
Okay. Man, I'm just
And you'll only want to focus on just Monica on the side of Serto here. I think that this is the only player that matters on the team, and clearly is better than all the other anime girls on this team.
Well, there you go. So we'll have to look for that. But I mean, we are seeing now, we are in, I believe, the new patch now. We believe the Mercy changes have gone live.
As far as I know, they have not hit live.
Okay. Yeah, that's why Mercy was still annoying.
Yeah, she's very annoying right now. So we are going to see for our first map is going to be Lijiang Tower. It'll be interesting to see if these teams are going to follow this open division format that we've seen commonly done in these scrims. Control, Escort, Assault, Hybrid, then another Control to round out this best of 5. Should be interesting.
And as we get into this, again, like you said, Lijiang Tower, actually, this one thing I didn't note as well, Serto, they said they really like Lijiang Tower, so look for Serto in their team comp, what they decide to play around, because they said it's strong, so they're going to bring out definitely their strongest hero composition here, Lemon.
Of course, I'm very excited to see how the Lijiang Tower is going to go. On the side of UG Red, they have indicated that they love to run dive, and you're most likely going to see this on a map like Control Center. We are all loaded on Tower. But tell us, walk us through what kind of comps could we be expecting from Serto?
So in terms of Serto, when they told us about their preferred heroes, they talked about Winston, about Diva, Genji. They had McCree in there as well, but I mean, everything else about that composition tells you dive, minus the Reaper. So they'll be just having high mobility heroes. But again, we're here in Control Tower, so we might see a different look from this team as we roll out.
Well, you did mention a McCree, and that's a very, very good counter to Tracer, and in fact, a good anti-dive character to stun these players as soon as they come in and able to get the shots and the follow-up from the rest of the team. As now we're loaded into the map, I believe there's UG Red will be on the side of the blue, so don't get too confused there, UG Blue, UG Red, and Serto will be on the red side, and the attack will be commencing here in 10 seconds. Looks like both these teams pretty decided on their comp, or at least Serto looked like more of a legit comp running this death ball here.
4, 3,
Yeah, both teams bringing out the Reinhardt, so look for how that tank line is going to be battling who gets the Rein first and who can prevent the res from Surto, because UG Red, they're not bringing the Mercy this time.
No Mercy, no Resurrects as the battle will be commencing. We'll take a look at how these two tanks will battle off Reinhardt versus Reinhardt. But look at his position here from 6 towards the low ground, and now is going to be joining his team. The pick's already falling through for UG Red. The pin goes in, point unlocked in a couple seconds, looking good for UG Red.
Yeah, the way that they just barreled through, that pick came in so early for UG Red that now they have the position as well as the capture. And look, they're holding them at the choke point. We'll see how long they can hold them here, or if they're going to be too aggressive trying to hold up too far.
Yeah, this was quite the awareness from UG Red. As soon as they got the 2 picks in, it was just barreling with kills. Echo just misses the pin, tries to go for another one. Both Reinhardt's down for both these teams. It's going to be still difficult to hold this choke point, but still Natsuki here on the Zarya wants to move in, gets caught by a trap. Here's the Riptire here from the side of Surto, finds one. That's one of the supports down at least. Still one support remains here for UG Red, gets quickly cleaned up. Now the rest of UG Red disengaging to the point.
Yes, Surto now, this is the opportunity, but they're walking right into the Riptire. That means that the reinforcements have been here in time. They spent so long just trying to push out of their choke point that UG Red were able to afford those picks.
And there's still another engagement here from UG Red. They have not lost the point, although it came down to just a few players left. They were able to hold on. Surto not engaging quite yet. A very quick pick from the Junkrat from the side of UG Red. Surto now waiting for one of their main shield breakers to get in. It's exactly how they want to get through this choke point here. Building up towards the ultimate, Sayori has the Valkyrie.
Yeah, look for the Valkyrie. If this Graviton Charge gets the Mercy, as it does, this could be really big, as now the rest of the team just pushing right in. Everyone getting wiped out from Surto, and they'll be able to hold on to this point.
Oh, there's backup there from Surto, forcing UG Red, although they had the picks, now to engage right onto the point. It's only 2 players here from Surto. Lucia trying to speed boost away, also providing some healing to Natsuki, but not enough. 6 versus 2. Surto now, no, they need to back away. Even the Hanzo Dragon Strike at the very end to clear this alley. Maybe a questionable use of it, but team fight will be reset 72% and growing for UG Red. They're under a lot of pressure to hold on to this choke point.
Yeah, but oh my goodness, and the pressure is going to continue to mount. That Riptire is going to be lost, but here they want to engage. They use just the sound barrier to get into position, but now they have the Riptire coming out from the other side.
Well, let's see what the Riptire is able to find. I have now, and so did Rhino. Oops.
Yeah, it got blown up.
Well, I keep forgetting my F3 is my mute button, but getting back on track here. Surto are now battling for the point. This will be the first time they'll be working towards the advantage. They have cleared out the tanks and the supports. Valkyrie in the skies here from Sayori to get the resurrects they do need and the healing. Finally, that dwindles down. It's their turn to hold the choke point as they hold on to 20%, but 99 here for UG Red.
Yeah, they got to win every battle out, but how the tables have turned. They have the choke point, and they have the Graviton Surge. They've been pulling 3 people together onto the backside of this. That is a lot of destruction, courtesy of the hammer.
Oh, these Gravitons, these Earth Shatters, these Riptires have been absolutely devastating. Surto gained a small time advantage, and into the other side of UG Red. They go into this with the sound barrier, so something to add a little bit extra shields, trying to break through that choke. But Surto are now playing point, so giving them room to go through this hallway is an advantage they're losing here.
You see the Riptire coming out from above. What can it find? Just trying to go to the backside of that, but they're already, the health pool is so high because of that. But here comes the Tech Visor from Surto, 6. He gets blown up, though.
Oh god, this is still going on. Trades going back and forth. The tanks, however, from Surto still alive, lands an Earth Shatter. Not able to get Scooty out of the bubble, having to disengage by the side of Hanzo. That's Lucio, still burning time, chasing down Sayori. And it's to Lucio that wins this, still engaging the point. Reinforcements from UG Red are coming in, and they only have to win one team fight. Surto need to keep this one alive.
Now they have the numbers, but they don't have the point yet. The flip hasn't happened, and now Surto, they're in a position to reinforce, but a good charge means that the rest of Surto are going to be pushed back, but the point hasn't flipped yet, and that's what's most important.
Oh, it's still a back and forth battle. Another Sayori Valkyrie in the sky. There's a Graviton. It's a Dragon Strike. It's a fat 2-piece. And also the UG Reds holding on to the point. Sayori trying to keep these Resurrects alive. The battle is not done yet. A couple members here from Surto. The Riptire gets both supports down from UG Red. Are Surto gonna respond? They throw their tanks in onto the point. Scooty is the last one left, joined by the Hanzo. And with 91%, Surto could be walking away with this.
and Serto was absolutely in command. UG Red was in command of the point until the Riptire turned it, and now it's 99% the other way, and the overtime is not there. Serto will take the first map.
Can you believe that? A 99 to 15% comeback there for Serto? Absolutely insane. You highlighted that Riptire that got both the supports, allowing UG Red to re-engage the point, but still, Serto held on to it. I was absolutely insane.
In such a tight battle, you can see these teams very evenly matched. It's just a matter of the play and tracking the Riptires. Those Riptires were so influential in the game. We'll have to see if those teams will be bringing back the Junkrat. They're deciding to almost maybe looks like they could be communicating the comms, because Fat Chop and Smagic are both on the Genji from both sides, as well as Tracer. Yeah, this is just dive from both teams here as we roll out to Night Market.
Night Market will be commencing, and like you've mentioned, dive on both sides, and we do not see again a Mercy on the side of UG Red. Sayori still holding on that role for Serto, perhaps giving them a huge advantage in why they were able to extend those fights in their favor with the double resurrects. Here, Scooty starts off already with 2 kills, making already on 1 on Sayori while she was trying to go for the resurrect. Point now unlocked in a few seconds. You see these members from UG Ren, after winning that fight, able to move forward with the cap. Oh, yeah, maybe not the one fight.
Yeah, they're just trying to clean up, but they don't do it fast enough. As Smagic comes out onto the point in just blazing fashion, he's able to take out a lot of folks. And what looked like an UG Red advantage is a Serto advantage. They have position on the point, and they'll take the first capture.
Oh, that magic Genji there on Serto, getting those few kills to even equalize the numbers, and then start off with the first cap there from Serto. Now in the advantage, holding on to the choke point here. Only a couple players make it out, but they have to retreat back into the lines, where the tanks now have to figure out how to create that space for the rest of their DPS to engage.
And watch out for Smagic. He has the Dragon Blade, and they're holding them at the choke point again. We're seeing just this very similar styles as Smagic will be able to take out. Oh my goodness, here comes the Blade.
Oh, the Blade starts off already with 2, namely 1 on Exile, now cleaning up the tanks as well. Magic has been the player to set apart. Let's take a look at this replay in case you missed it. I think it was a double or triple kill. Insane slicing potential here from the side of Serto. They start off here with 50%. UG Red have yet to respond with a cap of their own, but in the meantime, they have been working on a lot of ultimates.
You gotta remember that it was so efficient. They hold it with just 1 ultimate, and they have a lot more to work with. It's mounting the other advantage. UG Red need to find a pick.
Well, we start off with the self-destruct here. Nonetheless, a couple players from UG Red are able to make it out. Serto now decide that this is the moment they want to use the Valkyrie. However, UG Red lose one of their main tanks. Their second tank is going to get chased off. Self-destruct at the front door from the side of Serto to zone out the rest of these players. Magic, again, is constantly on your kill feed, dealing with the DPS players and slicing through the tanks. And not yet an opportunity has arisen for UG Red.
They needed a pick. No opportunities for picks, and because they're getting just taken out at the beginning of these, but they have a lot of ultimates on their disposal, so they're going to work in with the Transcendence. They can get to the back line. This could be big.
Oh, at least the Transcendence to move them through the door. They touch finally the point to try and trigger overtime in case it happens. Here's Magic Red, or sorry, that's Magic with the Dragon Blade slicing through, but it's actually very low health, not able to convert those into many kills. However, one of the tanks already neutralized here from the side of Serto. This is looking great for UG Red. Echo is on a rampage with this Primal Rage. Finally, UG Red have found the opportunity they need to turn the point. But again, this is a little bit of a deja vu from Control Center. 99% here to Serto, and actually it was 99% to UG Red. Is the comeback going to happen here, Mushu?
It could, and if history tells us, if history is any indicator for the future, then yes it is, because UG Red found themselves in the opposite situation last time. They'll be able to battle it back, but again, they have to win each fight out. The self-destruct is zone them, but I gotta wonder if they would have liked to have a better spot for that, as Serto is now moving very aggressively towards the UG Red.
Oh, UG Red lose all their supports. Just now only 2 DPS and a tank left. The cleanup there from 6. Just beautiful plays there. Easy retake from Serto. Overtime dwindling down. Can these players from UG Red make it back? Here's Rhino, gets booped off. Able to keep this overtime going. Can the reinforcements of UG Red make it back? Winston hops into the point. Now the rest of Serto are here to defend it. Pulse Bomb is able to just cut down these tanks from Serto. Dragonblade also makes it through from the side of UG Red. Is it enough kills to make it through? Sayori brings out the Valkyrie for the double res, and this fight is still going.
They have to kill 8 people to take this because of the Valkyrie, but it looks like UG Red got their ultimates just in time, but they just got to clean it up. But that Valkyrie is so tough to get to, and now the tanks are back in here for Serto. UG Red, they just only have the Primal Rage to work with.
They've invested so many ultimates, pulse bombs, dragon blades, you name it. UG Red even throw in the sound barrier, but they have not been able to deal with Sayori, who had got the double res off in those last ultimates. Now we got a Winston Primal Rage here from Echo, trying to push these players off the point. Remember, this is overtime. Every kill that Serto gets is an advantage for them. However, they already demeched their main tank there. Diva Natsuki's going to be going down. The rest of Serto are soon to follow. UG Red retake the point, but now have to play a perfect night market game here on Lijiang if they want to keep the series alive.
And a perfect way to start it out would be a good pick with the pulse bombs. Have to see if Rhino can land something. Serto, if they are too hasty in going back and not regrouping if they get picked off, this is what you want to do as UG Red. But first they got to get this first pick. They have a long way to go in order to close this out.
Oh, the Discord Orb, all the damage is feeding into this Winston. How is he still alive? Sayori just comes up with the clutch healing, sacrifices her life, but at least extends the life of her own tank as they make their way to the point. Look how separated Serto are playing. The DPS are mid-map, the tanks are on the point. However, the Barrage still makes it through her magic, who switches to the Genji of the Fire to apply more damage here onto UG Red. But now making their way to the point, it is a battle between all the DPS, and now a huge kaboom here from the side of UG Red to zone out the rest of these reinforcements.
Scooty's the only one on the point, and it will flip here, but Fat Chop is there to get going on that, and he has the Dragon Blade.
Oh, he's slicing. No, he gets immediately eliminated there by the tanks. Does not want to be your first priority. Sayori has been staying alive this whole time, keeping their tanks. Now it's only 2 players here from the side of UG Red. It is Rhino and Lucio against the world. Rhino is cleaning up the pulse bomb onto the Diva and the finish up. It's going to make this an easier fight, but now with the Pharah in the air, this is not a character you want to deal with as a Tracer and a Lucio. However, the reinforcements are in 99-94. Whoever wins this fight will either walk away with the series or extend it. Sayori's in the sky here with the Valkyrie, is able to somehow get every resurrect she can, and this is making it a winnable fight here for Serto.
And Serto now just flipping the point of the self-destruct will have to clear them out. Combined with the Rocket Barrage, that will solidify it, and Serto walks away with a 2-0 in just one of the closest 2-0s we've seen here on Scrim Nights.
Extremely close, and you gotta say that this was a lot closer than we thought it would be when you have one Mercy that's able to bring 2 players back, is able to reset 2 players in a fight, and the other side, UG Red, are working with a Zenyatta and a Lucio, which Lucio is pretty rarely used almost in this meta because of how powerful this resurrect ability really is. And even they have not been focusing each double res off every single time, even keeping players at like extremely low HPs alive, like that Primal Rage that we saw should have been an easy pick. He jumped in the middle of 6 people and Sayori was able to keep him alive. So this was great work from the support players of Serto.
Yeah, they were able to clutch it out in the moments when you would not have expected it. And even that last flip, again, it comes down to 1 or 2 plays. That's how you know that it's great Overwatch in very close battles. And we'll be going into the next map, which will be Escort, but after the choice. Should be UG Red coming up with that. But I believe have Ben back with us here.
Yeah,
so,
hello.
Back to Ben.
Yeah, I'm back. So what an interesting match we had there. UG Red was really looking quite dominant on Control Center until they got to 99, then they just could not get that point back. Quite interesting how that happened. But how does a team get to 99% on a point, then just fail to get it?
At that point, it comes down to being able to clean up the kills. And on Control Center, you have that center pylon, and you have a lot of cover that you can work around. And what Serto did so well was buy a lot of time for themselves to get reinforcements. So even if UG Red opens up with 3 picks or so, they can't get the rest of the kills. That means that they can't flip the point, or the other way, they can't they can't get the other team completely out, then it means that at any moment you just have one ultimate like a Riptire that can clear out a couple members of your team. You're suddenly at a disadvantage.
I also noticed that Exile was going down pretty early in these fights, and not really to his fault, more that just unfortunately turned out that he'd be the first pick, and having one of your supports down when you don't even have a Mercy, that leaves a Lucio to do all the healing for you, which, depending if he's on speed boost or healing where he is on the map, it's not going to be able to heal as effectively as a Mercy, or maybe having two supports on the field. So having your healing cut in half there by that pick, and having Serto have Sayori, who's been healing everybody, as I already mentioned, there's a clear difference in the support players, or at least the amount of healing that's going down between the fight, which then leads for UG Red to start with the advantage, but Serto having the just being able to extend it because they have the Resurrects and the healing to their advantage.
Yeah, so it looks like our next map is going to be Watchpoint Gibraltar here. How do you think these teams are going to fare here?
Well, of course, both teams showed a lot of prowess on the dive, so we'll have to see for the attacking team. Almost definitely expecting a dive composition. I think the more interesting part will be, will we see a death ball or a kind of counter dive by having dive itself from the defending team to open it up? You know, will be UG Red on the defense first because they're on the blue side, and Lemon, I guess as we start to get onto the map for this particular map, it seems like there's a lot of sightlands early on for the defense to work with, so possibly we could see any sharpshooters.
It's very possible, very, very possible. UG Red have also indicated that Gibraltar is one of their at least favorite maps. I don't know if that translates to one of their best maps in terms of skill, but they have not brought out a sharpshooter on the defense. But Natsuki here is picking up the Widow on the offense. So we'll have to keep an eye on maybe if this is just an initial pick. But on the side of UG Red, again, executing this dive, having Exile now switching from the Zenyatta to the Mercy. So this is a role he's picking up that he has not chosen yet in the past Lijiang Tower. Banana Bolt sticking on to the Lucio instead of perhaps a Zenyatta that is more commonly picked.
And the Mercy still big. You have that res and have that charge that adds on. But on the side of Serto, it will be running kind of a half dive. Really, it's only up to the Cadsec on the Winston to dive right in. So, but we do see UG Red holding an interesting position on the upper ground.
Oh, they're playing hide and go seek here. Cadsec kind of jumps up here for the offense, wondering where, expecting 6 players to be up here. But now he charges in completely by himself. Magic is able to still win that Genji battle. The payload makes its way through Car Wash. You're going to see Serto now disengage, focus on moving the payload forward. They've lost a few members here, but will hopefully rely on their Widow in the backline to try and get a few picks here. Natsuki has found a couple, mainly one onto Suki, but oh my goodness, is getting chased down here by the defense. But in the meantime, there's a back push from the Zenyatta.
Yeah, Zenyatta is on the point and escorting it, and they're just completely leaving this behind. Fat Chop is on the case, though. He's about to drop down onto it, but Natsuki, now that they're completely split, UG Red caught in a tough position. Do we fight the battle, or do we go and stop the payload?
Oh, we're playing so aggressive that they lost so much meters from this back push there from the Zenyatta, and I think that was a Baby Diva or a Tracer, but nonetheless, the defense waking up from this one. Cadsec able to disengage. Surprised he's not being punished for that one. Fat Chop trying to chase the kill, but nonetheless, a few ultimates here from the side of the offense. They're just going to need to execute this one, starting off with the Pulse Bomb here from Bye Bye, and the follow through from the rest.
Yeah, that was a pretty key factor that Cadsec did not get picked there. And so now they're able to jump in here, and here comes Magic. He has the Dragon Blade. He's able to find the Mercy right away. That's a good start.
Oh, he finds the Lucio as well, trying to chase down the enemy Genji. And now it's the tanks duking it out onto the point. The support's trying to stay safe into this backline. They managed to able to demech Scooty here, and now it's only this Primal Rage from the defense keeping them alive. Natsuki is just able to stay into the backline comfortably as the Widow and feed shots into them, along with the vision that was granted to them at the beginning of that fight. Now heading into the second phase here, Serto need to get the snowball rolling and create as much space as they can. This can be a very difficult area to push if you have your momentum stopped.
There's a lot to, yeah, exactly what you said. The fact that if you don't stop the momentum early, then it's going to be tough to stop it beforehand. But this is the start. Fat Chop has the Dragon Blade and it draws out the Transcenso, so at least a trade.
Oh, and even it draws out a few ultimates there. There's the Jacob there with the Transcendence. There's Banana Bolts with the Sound Bear to keep his Genji alive. There's a few missed support ultimates there. Even Sayori is bringing out the Valkyrie for the double resurrect. And this fight is looks like Serto's gonna keep this fight going and trying to get back onto the payload. Again, Katsik and the friends from Serto back pushing this one after the cleanup on the Rhino and Scooty. So UG Red investing some questionable ultimates and now is switching a few characters.
It invested a lot into that, like you talked about, and they don't even get the hold, and it will be rolling into point B. Adjustments are not really being made here, except for the switch onto the Hanzo. They feel like they want to do damage more from a distance to support their dive, but Katsik is already onto this back line of the defense. They can't even get set for point C before they're being pressured backwards.
Oh my god, Katsik, that was an insane Primal Rage, just pushing everybody back from this corner. They're able to reestablish themselves before that really matters. And like you said, that's an interesting pick of the Hanzo, trying to use this long range, possibly to try and battle Natsuki on this as a sniping role. Pulse Bomb there goes off into the backline. Trade's going back and forth. Sayori gets the resurrect off. And this is the moment UG Red are deciding to engage.
And it will be Smagic onto the back line. This is the battle of the Shimada brothers, but Smagic instead turning back onto the payload again, where they want to focus their energy. They need to clear the point in order to have it push. So this is the great focus coming out from Serto, Smagic, and Katsik doing so well together.
There's a bit of a disengage here with the defense. They seem to be pushing forward without necessarily trying to stop the payload. And they get a few picks, and now this offense is rolling through the final part. 4 minutes will be into the time bank unless they're able to burn enough time. Dragon Blade here from the side of Magic. Transcendence to keep him alive. Self-destruct is not going to be able to do much there for the defense. Echo, Lucio, and not really much left for the defense. Lucio goes down. Echo in the Primal Rage in the back for some reason, not really stalling the payload. Nonetheless, 3 minutes and 29 in the time bank for Serto, as UG Red will decide how they will take this offense.
And Serto looking so strong, and the UG Red, you had the Winston jumping in from them to try to contest further back onto their back line, but where do you focus for Serto? Because even if you take down a support, the tank and DPS together are doing so much work. Again, Katsik, Bye-Bye on the Tracer, and Smagic together, those three, and Natsuki, of course, adding damage to the front, it's very hard to stop them. But now it's not going to be their intention to... actually, it will be there as they are going into the defense. They'll be, of course, trying to stop them. And so we'll see, of course, a different look from UG Red on their offense. But Serto, I mean, it looks like that team composition is one that they can just run because it is payload and because the objective is always moving. A dive and a high mobility composition could be the right call here.
Could be the right call. And talking about the last defense, sort of a misplay there from the Primal Rage from the defense, not choosing to use it to burn time into the time bank. Because, I mean, at some point in the fight, you might want to just work on burning time rather than, I want to say, try to win the map. But his job was mainly to burn time with that Primal Rage. It's exactly what that ultimate is. And for him to jump after the Widow and not having somebody to jump on the payload, Fat Chop was there as a Hanzo, but that's definitely not a character that can sustain onto a payload in this versus 6 people. So questionable plays there. We'll see how UG Red are able to respond back, now sitting onto the offense where they've locked in their dive comp, sending Fat Chop and possibly Rhino on this far end Bastion combo.
And you talk about it, how we're going to see UG Red respond, but it's going to be also in large part, where does Serto start on their defense? Do they try to do some cheeky play like UG Red did, or do they hold them in front of this choke point? And they looks like they're positioning here to possibly let it run under. Look for where Serto holds their defense.
Yeah, they're holding this on this high ground, and UG Red are going to be playing sort of this distance DPS. They have Far and Widow that can play very far away, and it's exactly what Serto needs to do, is close the gap between them. Trade's going back and forth. Already one support down here for the offense. They're going to be losing their Zenyatta, but the spawn's pretty close by. They should be able to recoup him right away as Halo makes its way through Car Wash. You can see UG Red playing extremely aggressive. Scooty and Echo working together to chase down these supports. No, Sayori is in a bad position, is able to get escorted to safety there by Magic, as offense still working forward, but now losing their momentum will have to go for a reset.
Oh no, and Scooty getting staggered too. It looked like a good offense at first, but they couldn't convert the kills, and this is a huge stagger here from the Mini Diva. Will go down finally, and look how long they've staggered it. It's wasted pretty much 1 minute because of that one fight, but they did push it at least to under car wash. And Fat Chop already starting to find those rockets there, but they do get rezzed up.
Well, Exile brings out the Valkyrie in this case, sustains some of the healing, add a little bit extra flight. And that's Sayori also with the that was Sayori that had the Valkyrie this whole time, not Exile. Nonetheless, Exile goes down in that fight. Banana Bolt is also down. The offense have no supports and therefore going to disengage. So another reset here. A lot of time burning that clock. There's even a Tracer. Rhino, let's see if she will not be able to get staggered into this next fight. Is able to make it to safety. And another engage from UG Red without everybody really being on board here.
That was the problem. They're engaging and don't have everyone on the same page as they're all kind of running around like crazy here. But this might be now, finally, it's starting to come apart at the seams as Surto is getting picked off. And we even see here that just support on the back has no support for himself. So finally, UG Red are making ground.
Well, making a little bit of distance. Valkyrie in the side of UG Red. Self-destruct. Should be able to catch that Mercy, and it does. Exile goes down. Unfortunate for that. Echo is still trying to clear the point. They bring out the Transcendence to sustain some of the healing. Keep everybody alive on the point. They get one of the tanks down from the defense, but there's a Dragon Blade from the defense also coming in, getting one of the supports. Now trying to clean up the rest. Magic keeping this fight alive for the defense, even forcing out the Transcendence to make sure he doesn't go down. This defense is somehow keeping this alive.
In a large part due to the Transcendence, but the Transcendence runs out and Scooty will be able to take him out because of the self-destruct. And now it is the Mercy who's caught between a monkey and the wall, and that's not where you want to be. Those punching fists will do a lot of damage against that. It was an extended fight, but UG Red are starting to reinforce, but if only they got to take out these tanks first. Finally they do. The tipping point is now keeled over as they have 1 minute left to go on this, but they should be able to take point A.
Very solid defense though from the side of Surto. They burned so much time, now only a minute left, and we're only at point A. So this means they have to make some serious grounds here on the second phase of Gibraltar, where now they have already DMX Scooty. This is not a good look for the offense, and we've talked about this disengage between the tanks and the rest of the team. Fat Chop brings out the barrage. This is looking good here, but puts Exile in a horrible position. So although that was a nice execution of the barrage, they lose their supports and momentum with it.
Yeah, it looked like a good idea, and it's one of those momentum ultimates and comes out. You have a good idea, you see a lot of people, and you think you can make a big difference, but the team was getting wiped out on the point. And so now it is up to UG Red. Do they continue to push in on this? They have been wanting to be aggressive this entire time, Lemon. They've been, like you said, just trickling in, and it did work out for them, but can they keep just hedging on this for the rest of the map?
Well, it's not going to be looking good for the offense if they keep this disengaged now. Self-destruct here from the side of the defense. They even bring out the Dragon Blade. Finds two. Namely, again, Exile goes down early in these fights. And the only way that UG Red has been able to capitalize on this is if they can extend the fight and hope Exile is able to reinforce eventually at the later parts of the fight. But this is a huge explosion there from Surto with the Dragon Blade and the self-destruct completely clearing out UG Red. Now leaving them only with 2 minutes to get through the second phase.
They're already behind time. You mentioned the time bank. In terms of just kind of like the lap set, you know, when you pass the same point, like, so they are really behind it. They got to push the tempo here, but maybe more importantly, they just got to finish the map. And so it is going to be the offense jumping right in the middle. A little bit of a variation. These tanks staying together better, and they start off with 2 picks, but they lose both of their supports already. This defense holding so well.
Oh, this offense is trying to keep this fight on top of the ship to allow their supports to push the payload, but every single time they come back down and Surto joins them. Nonetheless, we're able to get some picks here in the favor of UG Red. That's Rhino going in huge along with the rest, but look at this Catstick pushing this 1v6. Now Sayori comes in the back with a Resurrect onto the second tank. So let's see if the 2 tanks can at least burn a little bit more time. The offense sent a self-destruct to Zona at the reinforcements. Sayori is continuing to res everybody, and just keeping these tanks alive. So they have not dealt with Sayori whatsoever.
Yeah, and that is such a huge part because those tanks are staying alive so long onto this map, and they give enough time for now the Dragon Blade to come out from Smagic. What can he do?
Oh, two-piece there, mainly onto one of the supports here. That's Banana Boats, and Resurrect still coming through for the offense, but will it be enough? Surto only have a few members here. Reinforcements coming in. Sayori providing all the healing. Exile has a Valkyrie here in the sky to try and sustain it on the other side. Battles of the tanks, which is mainly what this game has been about. We'll have to mainly look at Fat Chop, and whenever he's able to come back into the fight and maybe rain down a barrage, but Primal Rage onto the point for the side of UG Red, trying to create that space. 15 seconds remain on the clock. They need to bring this home to point B, and it looking like they'll be able to do so.
Yeah, right when it matters. They'll be able to contest here, but that's Magic and the Mercy going down for Surto. UG Red will finally be able to capture point B, but they're finishing this with less and less time with each time, but they want to get the momentum here. I mean, this could be the time that UG Red just needs to go forward, try to get a pick. They need to be wary about their ultimate usage and need to convert it in a place where the payload will still be able to make progress. Because right now, even if they die, even if they don't use any ultimates here, it will be worth it, because look at the point. It is continuing to push without being contested until now, so now they have to fall back.
Oh, this was a really nice snowball there from UG Red. I mean, only having one on the payload and trying to hold them at the choke point. But then there's Bye-Bye on the Tracer who started causing trouble in the back, forcing them to disengage. And now there's players on the players forward who are now completely not playing together. Sayori's able to dive in there and resurrect in the middle of 6 people. Like, how do you let that happen? Defense now pushing forward. It's their time to shine.
Yeah, and look at this. This is the defense. They have Magic, have the Dragon Blade, so they have a lot to work with. They don't even need it right now to hold this defense, because now UG Red is completely fractured, and another stagger and a kill onto Scooty. Again, these tanks are so important to keep alive for UG Red, and now the time is dwindling. 18 seconds left to go.
Well, UG Red do have a Valkyrie here for this next fight. This is going to be huge. This will be their last fight, and they have to be aware. They have to play the safe. Magic knows it's last fight, too. Brings out the Slicer, already taking out Banana Boats here, and Echo. Exile now forced to bring out the Valkyrie to sustain these numbers. Magic, if he goes down, this might not be looking good for the defense. They send in the self-destruct to zone out these players, but it's still an all-out war overtime onto the payload, where Bye-Bye on this Tracer has not been noticed here in the back, and finally should be able to get some kills, but nonetheless forces these players from UG Red to turn around. Primal Rage here from the side of the defense again. Can UG Red sustain? They have Exile who just used the Valkyrie. Now it is all over with a self-destruct onto the field, and still no breathing room for the offense.
And because this offense has the Valkyrie, they're able to get the resurrections off, and they're starting to get the numbers, but of course still falling low. They have about equal health, but more people on lower health, so it's about getting sustained. But here it comes, another Dragon Blade from Smagic.
Oh my god, how did he get one already in another fight? But you don't even see him on the kill feed. This has just been a teamwork from Surto to take not only Lijiang Tower, but also on Gibraltar, which was UG Red's pick, and this was not a surprise to me at all.
And also not a surprise, Smagic with the play of the game, as they'll finish 3-2 and take away the win. This is on their defensive hold, and look how much they're just able to just dive right in, get those kills. Because of how fractured the offense was, no one was safe, even if there was that front line there from UG Red.
I think it's just a miscommunication or a miscoordination problem from the side of UG Red. I think it was mainly you saw when you had that back, sort of that problem from Bye-Bye that was being caused from Surto to... so when UG Red was pushing all these members to stop at the choke point at Surto's spawn, they sent Bye-Bye as a Tracer to contest the payload. And then you saw UG Red send half of their team, or most of their team, to deal with Bye-Bye, and then sort of half, or I think maybe 2 or 3 players were still left in the front line, and that's not enough players to push 6 people that are coming out of the spawn, or at least 5 people. So a huge disengage on what should be happening. You should be moving as a unit, especially if you're not able to convert those into all those kills.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I have to say about that. And we're finishing up the map 2. We'll be bringing Ben back. Ben, in your eyes from the sky, what do you see? Yeah, I guess we can maybe just take a quick second.
Okay.
Lemon,
I'm gonna grab some quick water.
Okay,
1 second.
sure.
If you wanna. 1 second.
All right.
Wait, never mind. Billy's giving me water.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah. How do you feel the flow's going?
I know we were working on color and play-by-play, and on Lijiang we were like role switched, and then I was like,
really?
shit. Yeah, I was doing color and you were doing play-by-play. So, or at least a lot of the time on control center, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we can even be on stream. It doesn't really matter for this discussion.
I mean, I just sort of cut it out because the lemon started swearing like mad. So.
Okay.
I figured.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you want to.
Yeah, it's.
I don't know. If you want to keep the professional atmosphere. I don't know.
Okay, sorry. I won't swear. Sorry.
It's alright. It's
I don't know. I just didn't know what Mushu really wanted to be on. The
Oh,
stream
okay.
for.
Yeah. No, I mean it's fine because this is all for even for our practice too, so it's okay to have the discussion. And yeah, I guess so I mean you can even put it it doesn't matter if this is being broadcasted or not, like what we're talking about now. I was thinking for just because of how it goes, sometimes it'll be me talking during action too, and so I try to hand it off, but I do notice sometimes even like Monty Doa, they will still Monty will still talk color during the action itself, and so he'll describing it in a more higher level way, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like a big picture way. I'm kind of meh on it so far, just because of maybe the points that I'm bringing to the table. So
like you don't feel good about your
the color side. I just feel like also in terms of like energy wise, I'm kind of flat. Like I'm doing the same thing throughout, but we'll see.
Do you want me to tone it down or like?
No. It's fine. I think yeah, I don't know because we've always run like hybrid, so.
I feel like we should cast whatever we're comfortable with, and we're used to hybrid, so I'm pretty good with what we're doing right now. It's just like now I'm trying to focus on casting through the entire play-by-play almost, and now I'm it's kind of different for me.
Yeah. Maybe the thing to try that you can try doing is casting through when you think the team fight is over, and then at that point.
Yeah, because I hand it off usually when it's like cleanup mode and stuff, and then we kind of had some mix-ups in Lijiang where, like there was action and you started doing play-by-play, so I'm like, oh shit, this is not the plan. Not that I cared, but for what we were trying to work on. But we can get into this.
All right. Will UG Red on the attack first, and already onto the point. Lemon, they're bringing the dive, and this seems to be their comfort.
Oh, I have to switch my team names. Okay, and already said and done here. You see Yuchi Red stepping onto the point, and it's been really the man you want to watch is this guy named Fat Chop, who is alive somewhere. Oh, there he is. He's been slicing through everybody here onto Serto, and just like that, Serto have not been able to hold on to this defense, and even to that momentum after this 2-0 series in their favor so far. Quick payload cap there for UG Red, as the payload will unlock.
And it's a swift strike and a swift take. The UG Red capturing all the way in 5 minutes 30 seconds to move through this next phase. But Serto finally getting into the point where they can hopefully start to hold here. But this is starting to look bad. They have Fat Chop on the Dragon Blade.
Oh, he has not stopped the momentum. Serto have not even gotten a chance to set up here onto the high ground before Fat Chop brought the Dragon Blade to them. That's some takeout, but nonetheless, a little bit of distance will be created because of that. Serto now will have to completely reset and take a look at their ultimate bank. They have not gotten a chance to really work on anything. They lost their first team fight within 30 seconds. This high ground thing has not been giving them any time to set up. They only have 6's pulse bomb, which just went off there, was pretty underwhelming. Nonetheless, UG Red in a huge advantage here, and they go in with at least a Valkyrie here into this next fight.
Oh, and a nice stick there from Rhino onto Bye Bye. He is, I mean, with a name like Bye Bye, you're going to be, waved to a lot. Unless he's the one saying Bye Bye, who knows? But we're already still into the action as the fight is extending. And interesting to see that the point is already under this underpass, right before the bridge.
Yeah, and UG Red had to invest there. That Valkyrie Exile still in the sky, able to get that second Resurrect off, bringing back Scooty into this Fun Fest onto the payload. Still the tanks are alive here for Serto. Self-destruct here is going to get bubbled here from Katsik as coming in from Scooty, allowing him to get back into the mech. Exactly. Great bubble to save the rest of the team. That might have been hard to get away from. Primal Rage here from the side of the defense. Even Natsuki brings up the double bomb, or at least the self-destruct, demeching the other team. Sound Barrier here gets forced out for the offense to try and keep this momentum going. They know this will be extremely hard to retake if they lose this fight. However, Serto have built so many ultimates here onto the defense. Sayori could be popping this Valkyrie at any time, but they know they've won the fight. They just have to stagger here. Echo should be able to hop out of this one.
Echo does get away safely, but like you talked about, finally the defense stabilizing, but more importantly, they equalize the ultimates. As we see, there's the Tracer battle going on the side, and it will be 6 almost winning it out. But Rhino does escape with his life. So now is the moment where is Serto going to be caught out? An early pick that's going to open it up for the Dragon Blade.
Oh, that's huge. 1 DPS already down, and we gotta take a look at this Dragon Blade for Fat Chop is able to find one of the supports, and also the enemy Genji is down. Sayori, however, perfect timing for the Valkyrie, bringing back the Genji for this Genji battle going on. Natsuki is also brought back into her mech before quickly demeched, as that rhymed a little bit, but the offense now keeping this momentum forward, pushing here through the bridge phase. 6 is going absolutely off, and D-Mex the Diva able to get one of the supports down. This has got to be the player to watch here from the side of Serto, but this battle is raging on, including this monkey here of Echo, chasing down Sayori, not able to get the kill on her nose. This is a primary support to deal with from the side of the defense, but there's Exile also with Valkyrie.
And Serto doing his best pine impression, just coming off the bench, and it's already wrecking on this defense, but it's still not holding. Despite how well 6 is doing, it's because UG Red is continuing the bodies onto the point. They're always contesting, and that will be even taken now from the self-destruct. Scooty takes out one and demechs the other.
Oh, Serto have not given up, even popping the Primal Rage just a burn. This is just a time burner at this point. Now at the very point of low health, able to disengage from that and rejoin the rest of his team. And this payload should be captured. They're holding on to this left doorway with everything they have. Losing Sayori, there's not going to be much healing and not much worth into going into that. Fat Chop, again, has had multiple Dragon Blades throughout this game. One in the first point, the second one when they got into the high ground, and I think maybe 3 or 4 just into this battle on the bridge side. UG Red now pushing into Castle.
And they look so comfortable here, Lemon, on the dive. They finally are in their spot. Look at how much effectiveness Fat Chop going in with the Swift Strike and getting 3 people off of that. But here comes Bye-Bye. See if you can say you later to this offense.
Oh, Scooty also says see you later to his main supports there into the back, making that Dragon Blade pretty much worthless in terms of kills. Exile keeping up the Resurrects, even some extra healing going on as it brings out the Valkyrie. Resurrects one of their main tanks. Self-destruct is sent from the defense, but this payload is coming home. Look how much pressure UG Red are putting into their base. Bye-Bye has to switch to a Junkrat to try and feed even more damage into this one. Sound Barrier here from the side of the defense. They're trying to keep this one alive. Scooty is demeched, and the offense have finally come to a stop. Serto have stopped the bleeding.
They finally able to come out, and Katsik swapped onto the Reinhardt. That hammer could do a lot of damage if you can't take him down, so look for Serto to keep him alive. If you see one of those supports drop, that will be the go sign for UG Red, because that means the Reinhardt won't be able to stay alive as long as Echo will also switch onto the Reinhardt, so we'll finally have the German battle, engineered battle for this last stronghold.
There's a lot of important switches that happen, at least from the side of the defense. 6 also switches to the McCree to be able to stun Rhino whenever they even get close to the backline. And here's a huge pin from Echo. Unfortunately, not able to convert that much in the kills as a Dragon Blade here from the offense to try and go into the backline. Gets hooked there from Natsuki. Amazing hook there to stop any further kills from going through. UG Red having to disengage again. 1.5 minutes, plenty of time to execute this next battle. But as I was saying, Serto have a lot of important changes going through, and it's been working out great.
Yeah, again, that 6's swap onto the McCree and the Deadeye to zone out everyone from UG Red looked like they were starting to bring more momentum into that. And finally, again, they're still continuing to take out the air out of their wheels. Rhino, though, this could be the good pulse bomb, but they have to worry about the tire first. Does get taken out by Fat Chop.
Well, now we even got a coalescence here from Monica trying to rain down, and here's a Graviton trapping these members here from the defense. Should be a quick cleanup there. The 6 is also caught in a bad position, so Katza gets resurrected. Sayori even brings back Monica, another support to sustain the healing. So there's a lot going on here to pressure UG Red back, forcing out the Valkyrie from the side of Exile. They're able to get maybe a resurrect, and if anybody goes down, but this is the payload trying to go home. Surto now bring out the whole hog to zone the rest of these guys off. Echo's shield is breaking through, and everyone should be able to get pushed off.
Yeah, because look at Rhino from UG Red, just on the soldier, completely uncontested, and putting a lot of damage, and even just an insurance Graviton surge to make sure they can't come through that left side, and it will be UG Red finishing all that momentum. But unfortunately for Surto, they're not able to stop it. They started to have some good defenses, but 15 seconds left to go. Not the worst time.
Well, this was a pretty successful defense, and at least for the final phase. That first maybe first and second phase of Vikenwald, or at least the first phase and bridge phase, pretty painful to watch. The first cap was in under 30 seconds, and the first team fight after was pretty quick cleanup. You only saw a really successful defense into bridge phase, where that fight was just extended and never ending. And a lot of switches coming through for the final castle phase, where defense were looking successful. They were countering everything that UG Red were throwing at them, but just the pressure and how aggressive UG Red were playing at the end just allowed so much space for the payload to be finally captured.
Yeah, it started to really mount up to a lot, and we mentioned this before. UG Red looked most comfortable when they're on dive, Lemon, and looks like that's what they're coming out with again. If it's not broke, don't fix it. This is the comp they ran on between point A and point B, and then as their point C pushed, we saw the changes come through. But again, you have both of these tanks and all the damage, and even all the supports too. They have the mobility because of each other, and that's really is what is going to be what UG Red want to do with their defense. But it's Surto. They have 15 seconds left to pick, so we won't necessarily comment about the meme picks that are coming out the other side, unless the Tourbillon's for real.
I'm not sure. That would be, gonna give 6 that Genji role, which I think 6 was playing a little bit of Tracer, and actually Bye Bye was the one playing Tracer before back on Gibraltar. So bringing out this combo of Reaper and Genji. So a little bit of height, a little bit of verticality, along with a lot of tank damage. And maybe that's exactly what Surto needs, is to be able to deal with the tanks from UG Red. Now, the fight has already made its way onto the payload, where it's going to be a battle between both these teams. And already, the tanks and the support and DPS down for Surto.
Yeah, and that's the dive. They met them where they wanted to, and Natsuki, oh no, it's going to be a big stagger again. He gets taken out by the Lucio, gets the final blow. A little gifted kill there, and that's what you want to get the kill on, though, because Sound Barrier is one of the tougher ultimates to charge.
Wow, that was a quick and easy fight. It looks almost successful. They got speed boosted onto the point, and trying to have this very close range fight, which was favoring Bye Bye onto the Reaper, who now switches onto the Soldier. Knows they want to maybe try a more long range fight, and now forcing UG Red back onto the point. You can see a little bit separation here from the members from Surto. He's barely able to stay alive, but here we're gonna hear a Dragon Blade onto the point. That's Fat Chop cleaning away. Rhino with the pulse bomb. Natsuki answers back with the self-destruct. It's not gonna be enough to even up the numbers, as UG Red again hold on to this defense with just half a tick maybe earned here for Surto.
And another stagger. Natsuki, the last person left alive, does get taken out. And you see Surto, they're pushing in pretty much with no pressure, but then UG Red cuts them off and cuts the team in the middle, so that Bye Bye had to scatter from the rest of the team. And it's kind of what they're trying to do. If they get another pick onto Bye Bye, that's huge!
Oh my god, they're gonna follow through now, knowing one of the DPS are down. Trying to now zone into the spawn. This is A little bit of a crushing. This is very aggressive and crushing here. Well, let's see. Natsuki reels in the Winston again, but the healing is all there to sustain and feeding a little bit extra ult charge in that sense. But Serto at least have a lot of tools to work with in their toolbox. They got 6 here with the Dragon Blade. Saori is just an inch away here from the Valkyrie. Natsuki will be working on not getting staggered as much, so which is burning a lot of time. And bye-bye. I mean, they have pretty much everything on the board. Mainly, you want to work both of these support ultimates in. So Soundbear actually comes in from the defense, and we're still waiting on 6. See when he used that Dragon Blade, and here it is.
Yeah, the Dragon Blade is the perfect moment. You see him jumping back in, had the health pool, and he's able to trade it out, though. The Genji's going even, but this defense, they're using the ultimates. They have the point, and Serto, they would need to do a lot to flip this, so it looks good for UG Red to hold it yet again.
Oh, this is so painful here for Serto. They've invested so much and they're not winning the fight. Both support ultimates are down. 6 goes down with the Dragon Blade early in the fight, and now Bye-Bye is down, so you only have maybe a few tanks alive, and at least the supports make it back, or are still alive into this fight, but this is just a long extended battle that is just burning their time. Even if they do end up capping this one, there's only a minute left, so this is a lot of bleeding.
The reinforcements for UG Red would have to stream in very quickly, and we talked about how Serto didn't look quite good for them at the beginning, but again, that attacker's advantage on this point A will allow them to capture it, and Kadsik doesn't even have to use the Primal Rage, so a good ultimate to hold onto because you can clear the upper ground very easily.
We saw how quickly the upper ground could be cleared in that last rotation, but Echo again wins that Winston battle, and look how aggressive this defense is playing. They're playing right at the door and actually pushing off the offense, chasing them to the spawn door. Sayori's not able to make it. The Lucio, at least Monica trying to make a little bit of distance, but is going to get super staggered into this next fight.
And just Monica can only do so much, and Rhino able to chase him down eventually. And Monica have to be sent back, and we'll see if UG Red could go into the spawn. They would. Unfortunately, there's that force field that disallows them from going. So, Lemon, as we roll into this next part of the defense, UG Red, they're content to play offensively despite the fact they don't have any ultimates to work with. Just a self-destruct here.
Well, knock knock, hello, kaboom at the door, but it's not really gonna be able to do much. But at least it's a nice hello and burning off some time for them to leave the spawn, and maybe this is a smart choice from Natsuki to get onto this Widow and try and capitalize on this distance and these picks that are so open to her right now. And look at the LOL sound barrier coming in for the defense, and they're just knocking at the spawn door, and a lot of people are home but don't want to come out.
This is what I'm saying. They're right at the doors. They can't even get out. The Widowmaker just trying to land shots as well. Look, Natsuki has been in spawn this whole time with the Widowmaker and has the in for sight. So now they'll have, that's going to be the big pick. Didn't even have to use it yet. Fat Chop, now they know exactly where they are. This could be the moment now Serto could push out.
This is exactly the punishment that they need. They built up so many ultimates from staying in spawn for so long. 6 brings out the Dragon Blade, slicing it up, and even the extra vision from Natsuki, able to strategize how they're going to capitalize on the position here for the defense. But that was an extremely successful defense for UG Red, just taking so much time off of the clock. Only a minute now when they have to get through bridge phase, which we know how long bridge phase can take to get through. UG Red back into this fight. They invest the Valkyrie here from Exile, but this is a Valkyrie from the side of the offense that goes down, along with the sound barrier here from Monica.
And that defense pushing so far forward, and Monica is going to get picked off because of it, because the defense is going so far in. Actually, now they're fighting on the point, skating around. It's going to be finally the reinforcements coming back, and Natsuki is on the upper ground.
Oh, gets pooped on there behind the Tracer, and Natsuki, that was a nice pick to get at least out of the spawn, but it might be a little bit difficult when there's a Genji and a Tracer on the other team. The two people you do not want to mess with close range. Nonetheless, they're able to get through bridge phase, now diving in and capitalizing on this distance. The only one to contest it again is Rhino, and you know what? Smart choice to not engage, or maybe we'll try to engage again, knowing maybe the reinforcements are here. But no, 2 meters and 53 away overtime, dwindling down the reinforcements from Serto are here. The Primal Rage and the Dragon Blade are out.
Yeah, and now they have the self-destruct to push everyone off of the point, and at only 2.53 meters left to go. But you see that the attackers are in blue, as we've gone into the second round. It's just Echo will be an afterthought, just raining against the halls of this last point. But no, Fat Chop wants to contest, but how long can he really keep it up for? This might be just buying time for the rest of UG Red to get the picks they want.
Oh, and it finally gets capped either way. So really bad position there from UG Red. Now they're all going to get cleaned up. But Natsuki has been able to stay alive no matter how many Genjis and Tracers have been diving her. And maybe this is exactly what they need. Some kind of backline bait that forces a Tracer and a Genji to get out of their frontline space and give their DPS a little bit more breathing room. Now into castle phase, UG Red sticking with their current comp. And we saw how some interesting picks like Roadhog, Junkrat, and McCree came out here. But Echo is going to be hiding around this corner, being a little sneaky beaver, waiting for these squishy DPS to step onto the payload, and the fight has now commenced.
You talked about the attraction for UG Red to dive the backline, and Natsuki just falling back so well. And look, Kadsik and the rest of the team pushing up forward, and combined with the Dragon Blade means they're going to be able to clear off the point. Oh my goodness, those resets, you don't want to give it to 6. He's trying to make the 6 kill on that kill feed.
Oh, there were some sick plays. But, just one last contest, 0.14 meters away, 20 seconds will remain. This is the last fight, and the offense know it. They invest the Valkyrie, and they bring back Natsuki in this fight. If she's able to get into position, this Widow is going to be so effective at getting the picks while nobody is noticing. However, UG Red have so many numbers to keep this going. Even a Valkyrie in the sky to sustain the healing. Every kill is going to matter, and for some reason, self-destruct from Scooty in the back makes his way back into his mech, where a sound barrier comes out from the side of UG Red. Fat Chop brings out the Dragon Blade, cuts up both the supports, and Natsuki goes down. Serto don't have enough sustain.
Yeah, this means that the defense is going to be able to win this out if they can clear out this Winston. He has a problem range, he has a lot of health, but there are no reinforcements. He will fall, and now it's going to be UG Red taking this from Serto as they hold them before point C.
Can you 0.14 meters
yeah,
or 0.15, whatever it was. That's just a millisecond that the offense needed to be able to tie this and go into a time bank round. This was so close. UG Red played this well, and I think mainly that was the Dragon Blade that came out, and we're going to see Fat Chop going off with the second Dragon Blade of the game, clearing out the high ground from this defense.
Contest was a big part of their ability to win that, and Gentleman Red showing again why they're so, at least for us here and us working with them, why they're so known for their dive, and it's just they look so comfortable with it. And despite the fact that that Serto was stretching the team across, you had the Widowmaker, it was the right answer, and he drew it out. But then UG Red was still winning the ground battle despite having the Widow damage. So he just sent one Diva with Scooty normally on the Diva towards the Widowmaker and occupying that. UG Red was able to win the 5v5 and then even the 1v1s.
Well, after everything is said and done, UG Red able to stop the bleeding in the series as well. 2-1 still in favor of Serto. And Ben, do you have any thoughts about how that Icon Wald went?
I mean, definitely a strong showing from UG Red. It's that power of the red team. I'm just kidding. That's not a real thing. But no, they just managed to get that to sort of take this series back from Serto.
I like the Spanish way you say Serto. Serto.
Oh, is it?
Sorry, I just say Serto.
Is it not supposed to be like that?
I don't know. I don't know.
I just read the name and I'm like, okay, that's how I pronounce it.
I don't know. That might be your inner Spanish coming out. I don't speak Spanish, so I didn't recognize it right away. So it was funny.
I don't know. I don't know if it's supposed to be pronounced that way. I just know that
it sounds more official and polished if you say it that way.
Kerto?
Kerto? It's not like carrot.
Kerto.
Kerto.
Serto.
We have Serto. The last map is chosen. Going to Temple of Anubis, where the sand is hot and the mummies are old. That's everyone's favorite part about it.
No, it's old, you're joking. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh! 1v1 me. 1v1 me. Torbjorn, hammers only.
Oh, hammers only?
Hammers only at midday on Ilya as well.
I was gonna say Widow off. Mercy duel.
We might see a Widow off. It's either going to be between us or it's going to be between UG Red and Certo as we load into map 4.
Certo. I think Rhino picked up a Widow at some point. We saw Natsuki on the side of Certo. Oh, sorry, it's the wrong team. It's actually UG Rouge.
Yeah, they're labeled in game wrong, so that's going to be a little confusing. Actually, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh wait, that is the. Where's
That's
Monica?
correct.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I had the right. Certo is on the blue.
Yeah.
And red is going to be on red. Cool. Okay, we figured it out. Yay!
Very good. Finally, UG Red on the red side. But I mean, looking into this, we've again UG Red I think have really proven their dive. So again, as they are on attack to lead it off here, we should be looking at what Certo has on the defense, and they have again that Orisa has a lot. As we've seen a lot here on just all the matches, whether it's pro, everyone has figured out how to do the Mage trick. You use the wall to get everyone up, and that's how you have this Orisa and that shield up there. I wonder if they're going to change that in the future to allow you to.
Yeah, like I'm tired of having to get a Mei on my team who builds walls and has to escort people places. But next level strats there, Mushan. How to set up on Anubis. YouTube video, copyright, we'll get it done. But that Nova skin though, can we just talk about Magic skin? I don't know we don't talk about skins on cast, but that Nova skin's the best skin there is.
It's fresh. It's a fresh skin and a throwback nonetheless. Is this Widow off was going to be Nova v Nova, not Widows. I don't even think that they have husbands. So I mean, how can you be a Widow like that? But how do you solve the dive? You just go at that shield, and it's going to be Smagic taking away the kill so far. And it looks like Banana Bolt's still doing a lot of work though on the offense.
Wow, this could be still a potential, but it's going to be a Mercy versus a Tracer, and it's kind of confusing. There's still a Mercy from the offense onto the point, and the defense didn't even decide to jump down and deal with her, and maybe even staggered in the next fight, but still, again, these random characters from the offense are touching the point. Fat Chop, we've seen him on the Genji before, and now we're seeing him on the Doomfist, and that's definitely not a character you see too often.
Yes, but there are a lot of walls here, and especially when a Doomfist is together with everyone there and they can't really move anywhere because of the body block, that means that this attack is going to look very good. Natsuki even being pushed off the point, and there's only so much you could do as a Nova onto the high ground, especially when your head is clean off your shoulders.
Yeah, that Nova was dealing with people on the point, but forgot there's still a Widow on the other side. It's Banana Bolts with an equally as awesome skin, also rocking the Nova. But after a very strange offense that sort of had a pretty good setup going, UG Red take the first fight, now head into point B. And this Fat Chop here on this Doomfist has been working out quite well, and there's even some more walls on point B that he can take advantage of.
Well, yeah, the whole team is playing well for UG Red, and Banana Bolts is a big part of that onto this Nova Maker, just on the right side. And they have a lot of ultimates again. They didn't have to use really any of them for that first point take, but Smagic will be doing swift justice with the Widowmaker in the back, but already onto the point, UG Red is flooding in.
Well, only 3 members here of UG Red will be alive for the offense, and even the DMAC for Scooty. Quick cleanup there for Certo, and mostly UG Red are working towards their ultimates, and Rhino also uses that pulse bomb to switch onto a Reaper. So many. Is there a stagger going on? Are they chasing after Scooty?
No, Scooty's just they're like, maybe they see her as their queen. They're not sure if she's their queen or not. Nope, that's gonna be
spit on fake queen.
Oh, okay. So no, Ugandan queen. We're in Egypt, Lemon. We're in Egypt, Lemon. Just this geography lessons. I know it's in Africa. Oh my goodness! And also that's gonna be the Doomfist coming down onto that. You talked about the walls. He just needs the one under your feet. That's the floor you're standing on in order to do the damage.
That was a very important pick on this Sayori at the beginning of that fight too, who has the Valkyrie. But now Exile used that Valkyrie so early in the fight. Now it's going to be Sayori's job to stay alive in the sky and bring the Resurrects through. As Magic brings out the Dragon Blade, slicing through the enemy team, mainly dealing with Exile and the support players, or sorry, the DPS players down for the offense. Certo answering back, but that's 2 ticks and pretty much 3/4 down for the offense. The reset goes, it's just time for Queen.
It's brutal.
Everyone, spit on fake Queen.
It's brutal.
She's Queen.
Yep.
Oh, she gets her mech back.
Yeah, she does get it out. I mean, that's the stagger goes wrong. I've been waiting for that moment. Run the stagger incorrectly, and now the Doomfist might be back to punish this moment, but the self-destruct release for now. Oh my goodness, there's Rhino.
Oh, and there's a Death Blossom. Now still an Angry Monkey dead that all his teammates are gone. But Magic lending him some assistance there onto the Genji. We even have a Sombra as just Monica. Literally just Monica alive right now. And she goes down. Doomfist from the skies coming down, and the offense want to take this home. Still working towards that final tick as Sayori stays alive into the sky, is chased around from another Angry Monkey, goes down. No more healing there for the defense, but that's 6 answering back onto your kill feed. Demecking Scooty fully this time and not staggering her as the defense able to re-sustain. It should be a reset here for the offense, but they keep going.
Yeah, they're so close to this, and now Sayori is on the point. She's done such a good job of staying alive, but this is not going to be the case as Rhino is right in the face. Those Hellfire shotguns, you don't need to be too accurate with this. And the Dragon Blade is very hopeful, but that is a bit optimistic here, especially with the self-destruct, making sure the point will be going UG Red's way.
Oh, Katsik at least able to bubble himself to protect himself from the self-destruct. And it was a nice effort from, I think it was Magic. It was Magic with the Dragon Blade. I mean, what can you do in a 1v6? You had to hold that point with as much time as you can. And 3 minutes and 6 into the time bag for UG Red. Serta will now switching on sides, but I think that was a very successful Death Blossom and follow-up, and they didn't even have to go for a reset. They kept it going, and they kept that momentum. Surprisingly, the defense were not able to retake it at that point.
Yeah, especially because UG Red running the dive, all those heroes have high mobility, which means they can get back to the point very quickly. And that's what we saw there. So it's a mix of the mobility, their survivability, the UG Red really showed. And you wonder if they're going to try to work in Doomfist more. It worked so well when the whole team is being healed up. And it just is one giant death ball. I mean, you can't take down any one person because they're all sticking so close together. And so we'll be now UG Red setting the defense up first. And it looks like they might be doing a similar thing, bringing out the Orisa and the Mei. But Lemon, it didn't work too well for Serta when they ran, when Serta ran that on defense. UG Red just kind of jumped into it. So you think Serta is going to do the same?
Yeah, it was a bit of a failed defense on that last one, as you did highlight. They had this very good stationary comp at the top left, even had this Widow off going on, but there was extremely weird offense of people onto the point, but the defense not stepping down and reacting to the situation. So just maybe a misawareness from the defense, but perhaps on the side of UG Red, when they're running pretty much the same comp, they'll maybe have a bit more success to it. It's all about awareness and knowing when to drop from that high ground and contest the point, because you don't want to give up this free objective time when you're winning the fight.
That is the big challenge, when you jump down, like highlighted. So it's going to be another Widow off, though. So we'll see, again, Natsuki versus Rhino. Rhino got the best of Natsuki last time. We'll see how it goes here.
Well, Acerto will be leaving at least the spawn doors, heading towards the left side. 6, as a McCree will be heading towards the right. But this dive has been initiated here from Serto. They join here onto the same high ground, but they miss a couple players. 6 is not mobile enough to make it onto the high ground with the rest of these dive players and actually gets taken out into the back. So failed first offense, and maybe more of a composition problem, since they have 6 on a McCree who can't, like I said, get to the high ground. Then they have Natsuki who stays into the back line. And they only have Magic and Katsik who can really fully execute this dive with damage.
And the timing was really perfect from Serto as they jumped in. You had Katsik jump in at the same time as Magic, and they reached at the exact same time. But again, it's only 2 people's worth of damage as Rhino was able to land a shot from this defense as Katsik is jumping into the back line by himself, and so he'll be burned down for that. The timing that was so good on the first attack was not there on the second, as he just kind of throwing himself at the point.
What's not hot is when you lose your only tank for your offense. So there's
not hot.
No shields. Not hot. Team's not hot, especially this
not
offense.
Hot. Team's not hot. I mean,
and no shields to sort of protect you from the Widow that can pick you off as you're going towards the left side. Even this bubble's not going to be enough. See, it just got dwindled there right away. Monica now switching. I think the Zenyatta is a new player. At least I haven't noticed. But now to this double support, triple DPS. We'll have to see how it's going to be executed this time. Perhaps going towards the right side. But again, Katsik goes down early in these fights. Now they have no shields.
Yeah, and they're not on the same page. Serto just certainly not really communicating at this point, because now they have even the attack visor. This social looks like he's overextended, but there's no one to block the damage.
Oh my god, this is a free reign day there from Batjob. Nobody to protect the bullets raining in for the defense. Now 2 minutes remain just to keep track of time. Surto have plenty of time to just try all the cards in their hand and what is working and what is not. Finally picking up the 2-tank role, Natsuki switches from the Widow onto the D.Va, knowing that Katsik needs a little bit of help to eat up some of this damage because they're focusing Katsik so hard.
And they will be swapping even more, like you alluded to. Smagic now on the Roadhog. They'll be running, look like triple tank for the moment. It will look like they roll out with it here. Lemon, as they move up with this triple tank, what they're looking for is a pick composition. This is one that can burst down somebody, but keep your team safe and get to the point safely. They're trying to mitigate all the damage, and they're running it straight down the middle.
Oh, 0 to 100 from 3 DPS to 3 tanks. Now onto the payload again. This is forcing UG Red to step down, along with the self-destruct that completely misses there from Scooty. Now trapping these members from the defense into this small area. They're able to use more as very close range healing to keep all these tanks securely alive, forcing Exile to bring out the Valkyrie for not only the healing, but the resurrects. Again, the defense, however, are staying alive. They're able to eat through all this health that the damage or that these tanks have.
Yeah, and just saw how much they were able to survive. Again, that tank, and even that's going to be the Mercy healing out, and the Biotic Pad, Biotic Field out healing the damage that a Winston and Primal Rage will do. But it did look a lot better. They don't make any progress, but it looked very strong, and UG Red had to use a lot of ultimates for that. They invested the Sound Berry, they invested the believe it was the
Valkyrie too.
Yeah, the Valkyrie as well. So it used a lot there, but another pick off. This is going to make it even harder for UG Red. They need to clutch it. Harder for Surto as they approach.
Well, Surto now is hopefully able to stay alive. 2 self-destructs pretty much right beside each other. Be able to zone out the entire point, picking off both tanks from at least the defense. So the offense looking good here. 6 lands the hook. D-Mex Scooty. We're going to spin on Fake Queen and get the point. And that's exactly what was executed. Heading into point B, however, in overtime, this is a little bit more of a time crunch than the last rotation had.
And then now in overtime, and because UG Red finished us so quickly, so they have to feel very good about that. And coming out from here, the man himself, Fat Chop, going back to the Doomfist. We saw it do so well on the offense. So why not, with the defender's advantage, also pick a hero that was working really well? But they'll be running right down the middle, the Sound Barrier to reinforce.
Well, the offense have all the extra health. Can they stay alive? Katsik having to switch to a Reinhardt to hammer everybody for these close range battles, but Rhino also switches to a Reaper who can feed it to this triple tank comp, exactly what UG Red needed to do. However, look at all the kills. They're all in favor here of Surto. Scooty now the last one alive. Now the rest of the reinforcements coming in. Even Fat Chop onto the Doomfist is punching everybody in sight, but Surto are working their way towards the first point, but only 2 tanks alive. Self-destruct goes down. 6 just needs to stay alive in time for this person to get their mech back. Monica also joins the fight with a Graviton, but goes down with it.
Yep, that is going to be the cleanup. It looked so clutch there. Even Katsik getting a cool charge onto the self-destructing D.Va to push it into the corner. He was able to block out the damage with the shield, but it wasn't enough. The rest of the team was still falling around him. UG Red, they have the defense of hold, and they have the ultimates to work with. Only a coalescence from the side of Surto. Actually starting to bring up a lot of them now. Those just coming online at this moment on perfect timing. Their Shatter and the Graviton Surge. So look to see where they try to lock them up with this Graviton.
Ooh, quad tank, the speed boost, but it's the Sound Barrier here from the defense. They're going to start out. We start off with the Graviton. It's not going to trap really anybody. However, everything is being thrown from the side of the offense to destroy this defense. 6, the whole hog triple kill, and the Earth Shatter to finally stop it from happening. Echo gets the pin, but only a few members here alive for the defense. Exile in disguise with the Valkyrie for the Resurrects, and somehow the defense stay alive. That was 3 tank ultimates. Make it 4 now that the self-destruct from Natsuki comes out, and they have not gotten a single advantage or a single tick converted.
Yeah, this fight has been going on so long that they can't convert it. They still have 2 minutes left, though. Surto now splitting up the tank line. Do you see how they're fighting away from the point? But this is allowing Rhino to just wreak havoc onto the rest of the team because Surto's tanks were occupied trying to take the other tanks down.
That's just a huge investment of ultimates from Serto. Now only a minute and a half. UG Red know they want to burn as much time as possible and work towards just pushing back this offense, or maybe holding out the choke point, or maybe want to play point. But this quad tank is sure a quite change that Serto had been using from before. They go into this next fight at least with an Earth Shatter, perhaps a Whole Hog, but UG Red are currently in the ultimate advantage.
Oh, and they're using one of those ultimates. That's their Earth Shatter, knocking pretty much everybody down, and both tanks will be pretty much falling. Monica having to run away at the last second. But the rest of the team, Rhino is starting to go into the back line. Uh-oh, that is also the Doomfist ultimate, the Meteor Strike, landing into the heart of Serto. They have one more fight to go. They need a full reset and have a plan. And I don't know how they really want to work with this. I mean, they have 6 with the Hog. They have the Earth Shatter to go, but they can't break this front line. UG Red playing so good when they're ahead.
Well, at least they might be able to use Magic's sound bear to just sustain the tanks. And imagine all the health you're going to have having quad tanks and a sound bear on top of that. That should sustain them to get into the point. And if they're able to get a pick even at the start, look at how aggressive UG Red are playing. If they're able to get this Reinhardt or whoever is chasing after them, this could give a huge advantage here. Serto drop the sound bear, get the hook onto the Doomfist. Now the Whole Hog to trap Echo in this corner, but mainly to push everybody off of the point. Scooty is gonna get demeched here, and Valkyrie's on both sides. This is going to be a long fight.
And now they have both defenses up, and that's going to be the Graviton pulling everyone together in a huge death. The self-destruct as the offense finally, in the last moments, right when they need to, seem to clutch it out here, but they still have to fight it off. They are only through 2 ticks.
All 2 ticks, make it almost 3. It's the Diva here from Scooty, makes it onto the point. No room to stagger that one as the Reinhardt trying to get back. Doomfist immediately is just destroyed. Reinhardt, you got Rhino here. Does he have the Death Blossom? No, he's gonna eat it up from the Diva anyway. Mercy goes for the Resurrect. Echo is here for the hammer, but no healing means he's pretty much good to go and dead. Last contest coming in from the defense, and that's a 2-2 split. However, this was not a lot of time in the bank. I think this was an overtime, so huge time advantage there for UG Red into the coming rounds.
And it will be the final attempt. You see Serto's time ticking down. They're able to hold it, able to capture, but as you mentioned, in overtime, so UG Red does need 33%. It looks like they might just not be running it, so we'll have to just assume that was a win for UG Red in that moment. But great play again from UG Red. We're tied up in the series, Lemon. It's 1-1.
I think it's 2-2, but...
I'm sorry, 2-2.
2-2, but...
Exactly.
Yeah, the Lijiang Tower, Serto started out, then Serto get the Gibraltar, and then you see this team of UG Red finally waking up and showing some fire with the win onto Iconwald, which again, we pointed out 0.15 meters away from being more of a time bank situation later on, and then Temple of Anubis. 3 minutes separates these two teams, so a clear win for UG Red. Ben, do you have any final thoughts about Temple of Anubis here?
Yeah, so there were a couple things I noticed. One of them was just Fat Chop popping off on that Doomfist. Doomfist is really one of those characters that we don't really see that much, which is, it's weird. Like, no one really knows where to pin him right now. Because that was not intended, but it works.
Yeah, he's taking some lessons from hydration, that's for sure. And the Doomfist is, like we've mentioned, is not a typical pick, probably one of the least picked people, I would say. And he was able to make it work, particularly on this map.
Yeah. Another thing was 6 on that Hog. Just with all those the Whole Hogs, getting a lot done with those. A lot of CC, a lot of kills, a lot of damage.
Especially that triple Whole Hog kill on point B. I can't remember who was on offense or defense, but I remember 6 getting that triple Whole Hog kill. That was amazing.
I believe it was Serto on attack. But we are going to be going to our last map. It is going to be Blizzard World.
Oh! What is this?
What is this? What is this? So not a control final map.
Nope.
But rather a hybrid.
That's right, and our favorite new map. And what a better place to decide it than Buzz World.
Then a theme park.
Couldn't have thought to go anywhere else.
Nowhere you'd rather kill other people than a theme park, I guess.
Yeah, and then I mean, let's just go ahead and walk through the map. We're talking about this point A. We have, of course, the statues of the great heroes of Blizzard. Oh,
of JK.
JK fam. What's going on now?
I
think the players were maybe not as ready.
They hadn't done some of the swaps. They'd started it prematurely.
Well, I mean, this will be Game 5, so do you guys have any predictions on hybrid, how the hybrid will go, based on maybe how the previous ones have went?
Go for Ben.
Well, Eichenwald was a hybrid before, and we saw UG Red take that, but Serto was not far behind. However, we have seen UG Red sort of pull ahead right now as far as the scores go, being more dominant on Temple of Anubis. So I'm going to say UG Red is going to take this, but it's not going to be that much of a stomp.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that because of this new, the new map dive kind of composition will be one that will be more dominant. If you're trying to set up a death ball, you might not know the most advantageous positions or even where the health packs are. So a team that can move together will win together. And yeah, I guess that's what the prediction will be. Lemon, what about you? I guess we've seen both of these teams for 4 maps so far. Any players to look out for from either side?
I guess I'll start with my prediction first. It's like we said, it's a new map, new surprise. I don't know how practiced both these teams are. Probably not at all. But if we just based on how the setups were on Temple of Anubis, it's kind of going to be a similar thing. It's going to be a high ground, sort of out of position setup with an Orisa or whatever DPS they'd like to pair it up with, probably either a Widow or long range. And I think that was better executed by UG Red, if I remember correctly, that were able to hold their defense pretty much almost to overtime. If I'm remembering if that team is correct. But since they're able to execute that setup, I think it would give them an advantage that they can hold this or having equally successful defense here onto Blizzard World. But again, we saw Eichenwald, UG Red also were successful on their defense, but only by 0.15 meters. So that was really could have been anybody's game at that point. But very hard to predict, as we'll take a look at Serto here onto the defense, where the player at least I want to watch out for is Magic. He's been a stand-up player onto the Genji, but now switching on a role to McCree. So this could be a new thing for him.
Cool. Oh,
Cool.
By the way, I think I'm gonna go back to just we can do a hybrid again. Not.
Oh.
Yeah, if that's cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
But it will be UG Red jumping onto the point. Like we said, they've been running the dive, so jumping right back in. So of course, Serto dropping back to meet them in the middle. And we'll be trading. Both Zenyatta's will die in this first round.
Well, this is quite the push here from the offense. They make their way to the point and force the defense here to step down and play on equal playing ground. Magic already with the 2-piece, but not enough here for the defense. Gonna get chased down from Scooty, where it's Baby Diva versus Magic here onto this McCree. Gets a little assistance there from Bye-Bye, so that's cheating. You don't disrespect the 1v1, but nonetheless, defense here, hold on for now.
I mean, just having fun here in this amusement park. You gotta go for the 1v1s and make sure that works, but as you mentioned, Smagic able to land the shots, and this McCree looking very strong, moving into this this point A hold. A lot of sight lines to work with, ones that you're not familiar with, and so not a bad spot here. We've seen Serto finding a little bit of a comfort zone on this upper ground, but it will be already. The Winston jumps in, he finds out to his demise. A fan of the hammer hurts a lot.
Oh, and what hurts is when both your supports are down to one self-destruct, and the Orisa had the shield on the wrong side. They'll have to go into this next one without any healing, but UG Red don't really have sustain onto their offense anyway. Just a Lucio and a Tracer who gets hooked and out of that situation. So even though they lose their supports, and it was a very successful dive for UG Red, they're not able to keep it going.
UG Red landed that self-destruct, but because of the Orisa shield, they mitigate a lot of damage, and here comes the whole hog pushing out the Winston. He's just having a bad time here. Echo just finding himself bouncing off the walls like Sound does, but here comes Fat Shop with the Dragon Blade. He's wanting to make a difference here, but where's the support from the rest of the team? Escapes with his life, but doesn't take one down from the other side.
Yeah, that was a nice Dragon Blade there from the side of the offense, but defense investing the Valkyrie, I believe, from Sayori, and I believe I saw Banana Bolt also bringing out the Sound Bear, so equal supports able to keep this fight going a little bit longer than it should have. Minute 40 remains for the offense to secure at least the payload, and then they have a whole Blizzard world to explore. And I think Serto have found their comfort zone onto this middle high ground, and now the fight will commence again.
And yeah, that's going to be Smagic now, zoning them out. They need the shield from the Reinhardt. Is now they have the Transcendence on the upper ground. They're still holding this, and they're not contesting yet. They finally drop down, and Echo trying to find the shots, but the self-destruct will be on the position for UG Red. And this now going to be a lot used, and so Serto finally be able to hold here as they pick off the last remaining members of UG Red.
Well, UG Red were playing pretty split apart there. They had Scooty chasing down the McCree. They had the supports like getting chased by a Tracer into the back line, and the Roadhog trying to protect the supports. So a little bit of a disengagement from the pushing team and burning a little bit. All these only a 30 seconds burned onto the clock. This will be the last fight, and they're going to be looking for Fat Chop to open things up for his team here with the Dragon Blade and Exile to maybe pop the Transcendence as soon as he gets slowed and keep this Dragon Blade, because this is all they have really going unless Echo can build this Earth Shatter pretty quickly. He's hammering everybody here on this high ground. I guess they were expecting Serto to maybe be up here, but no, Serto's in the exact same spot. Now time is dwindling down. Oh, that poop on the Echo. And however, let's take a look at Fat Chop with his Dragon Blade. Gets pooped onto the high ground. Is trying to chase Monica down. Slicing down, is not able to get the kill on a single support. That's Magic protecting his backline effectively, and the kills following through for the defense.
Yeah, and what this means is that now backs against the wall, UG Red need to regroup, and everything went perfectly wrong for UG Red. And even there, no, throwing bad money after the good, and likely because they weren't able to make it back anyways, why not just throw it out? We see UG Red not able to make a dent into the Serto defense.
Well, UG Red, I mean, this is a difficult offense. Obviously, this is a new map, and maybe we haven't seen a lot of pro teams and maybe what the strategy is to fully execute at least the capture point. And, you know, they've tried going towards the right side, and that defense definitely did not work on that top right, so they switch on going all the way to the back of the point. And that was causing UG Red so much trouble. They were able to close the gap, but converting kills was what the huge trouble was.
Yeah, and it seemed like finally, though, Death Ball worked out against the predictions, what we were mentioning. They found the stride, and maybe just it's about the dive not able to find the damage as necessary, as needed. Well, getting another quick restart of this map. That should be again Serto on the red attacking first, UG Red on the defense. So we'll be blue as we move in here, and Lemon again. The dive has been really the cornerstone of UG Red, but Serto now, they have an interesting kind of proposition. They just saw a dive fall flat on its face, so it could be moving in with a different kind of composition. I guess, you know, with someone like Smagic that can work on a Genji, but work also on a Hanzo and a lot of other DPS, do you think they build around their tank line or build around their DPS as Serto builds their offense? Difficult
to say. I think both compositions work well for at least the defense. If they want to run this death ball and hold on to that back high ground next to the point, they're not really forced to drop down onto the point unless absolutely necessary. They can fight that from the high ground, and huge disadvantage for the offense coming in. And you can see there's this offense are really sticking to this dive. They want to close the distance and the gap between the defense and the offense. You don't want to, I wouldn't say you don't want to, I just don't think it would work to run a slow death ball, because then you're eating all kinds of damage into your shield by the time you even get close enough to them to make a huge impact. So we see UG Red onto this defense. They're going to be setting up this Orisa and a hole, or at least in a Roadhog. Not sure if they're going to go at the back of the point or the top right, but Serto are pretty committed to this dive.
You know, we see now it is 6 seconds left to go, and they're likely going to bring this team composition. So as we roll on over to the attacking side, see them coming out in a very mobile composition, like you said, but they do have Smagic coming from the back, will lay down damage from afar. At least for now, they're finding a nice little cheeky flank on the left side, Lemon. They might find a good spot to surprise him with a big, nice jump onto the Orisa shield.
Yeah, the left side will be able to, means they're going to be pushing point and forcing them to play onto the point directly. But now that they might be moving into this left building, or at least the Tracer will, and the rest of the team will follow onto the point, knowing they're set up at this back high ground. The dive is initiated. The Orisa is fortified and eating all the damage. Now dropping back onto the payload. You see Serto dropping down, getting back onto the stairs and chasing down these tanks, knowing they are the prime anchor for this team. It's Scooty and Echo still remaining alive, but with that, that's 2 ticks here for the offense, and the rest of the kills going in their favor.
Yeah, and it was about jumping at them at the perfect moment. They surprised them with that coordinated dive, and it worked a lot better than on their first attack with the Temple of Anubis when Kadzik jumped in, able to save that. And now it's going to be the payload section of this hybrid map. It's Magic doing a lot of work with this Hanzo, and very close to that Dragon Strike.
Hopefully he'll be able to clear these lanes here into this second phase, or I guess the first phase of Blizzard World. They're going to send a self-destruct out, and in the perfect moment, Echo was answering a text or something, not really moving or responding to the self-destruct, so easy kill, gets resurrected into that one, as I think there was a dragon. I think I'm imagining some things. I'm hearing some ultimates go down. That's the pulse bomb, able to find the support, or sorry, that's the DPS of Fat Chop, and the second DPS goes down here for the defense. So a lot of distance being created here for the offense to even send the Dragon Strike to completely zone out where they're coming from.
You look how far up this offense is. The point is pushing just with one person, is now they're pretty much stuffing them in front of their spawn. You see they have to retreat. UG Red playing so aggressively, just like we saw on Eichenwald earlier today. So they're just bringing all the strats from everything that they learned. As it's actually, my bad, it's actually Serto on this offense here. The in-game labeling is incorrect for the moment. Making their way to point B, but this is Fat Top trying to hold here with that Transcendence, with the attack visor, but not able to find any kills.
Well, it's a nice use of the Transcendence there from Sayori to keep this offense alive, but not going to be enough. UG Red able to stop the payload in its tracks almost to the end of this first point. And this is probably the worst spot you can leave at this phase. You almost want to play it like the Gibraltar second phase, where you create as much space as possible, because as soon as your momentum stops, it's extremely hard to get reset up at the final part of this point. So you see defense setting up here onto this high ground. Serto are gonna meet them there, but this full tide means it's gonna be very hard for this Hanzo to work so close range, but finally gets this Dragon Strike again. I could see him using it right now, and look how close everybody is. Not able to find any kills, but completely divides these forces here for the defense.
But this sightline from Rhino on the side of UG Red for this defense, Rhino's able to just sit back, relax, just pop some headshots. Just like that, they trade the kills, but again, it's going to be UG Red holding on to this defense once more. Lemon totally agree. It's tough to start it back up, and once you're on this this hill, it just feels very uphill at the moment, and UG Red just have full control and full sight. Look how far up that sight line is. Echo just perched up there on top of the siege tank, ready to jump on the next victim.
Oh, look at that back half there from Bye-Bye. No one's dropping down. Okay, there you go. Well, just a little bit of distance created, but that could have been a little bit bad if there was a little bit of misawareness. Rest of the team, Serto, are here to join the fight. A little bit of ultimates. At least they have Jacob, who's going to be ready to send that self-destruct at any moment. And Kadzik following soon. Self-destruct is going to be laid out, but mostly just to get the mech back. You can see this back up here from Bye-Bye again. Dragon Strike completely zones out anybody to stop this payload from going forward. Scooty finally able to stop it before it gets there, 4 meters away. And the offense were almost able to, I want to say C9 it, but just so close again from Bye-Bye to getting that.
UG Red trying to take advantage of the aggressive defense. Serto trying to take advantage of the aggressive defense from UG Red is now, looks like the in-game team names are corrected at this moment. Look like they corrected them in, just sometime in the middle of this. But again, now Serto in the driver's seat. They have the ultimates ready to go. And here comes the self-destruct.
Well, it's gonna get, it actually doesn't get bubbled. It finds all 3, including Monica, onto this Mercy. Defense here of UG Red holding on thanks to the self-destruct. Minute and a half, though. There's still a huge possibility for Serto able to come back with only a few meters to go. Bye-Bye. gonna have to keep an eye on him. I think Scooty wants to play more towards the payload. They're gonna have to keep an eye on how Bye is gonna maybe try and back up this one again. And he's done it already 2 times, but moving on forward, Serto are gonna lose Magic, who gets staggered a little bit into this fight. Catsick, however, has the primal rage to wage this fight, hopefully in their favor.
And it can, again, just a little bit of a back cap and some primal rage to push them off the point. Smagic moves his way on, and now the defense has to jump down onto the point, and this is making them extend into a position where they're not very comfortable. And Rhino is still perched up and will take out Bye and is completely safe back here from behind the sightlines. Even Fat Chop has the tactical visor. We've seen getting already 2 people, and this is going to be another wipe here from Serto. Even the sleep damage taking out Jam Jacob on the Mini Diva.
This is what a huge tag visor. Again, they only need to invest 1 ultimate to completely team wipe the other team. In that last fight, it was a self-destruct from the defense, and now it's the tac visor again. So Rhino also switching, or at least I just noticed that they're playing this Widow and going for the picks while they're distracted onto the front line. So this is going to be a tough job there for Serto. They make their way to the high ground now onto the payload. Dragon Blade, however, from Magic comes out, slices the enemy Genji, goes for Banana Bolts onto this Mercy, not able to find her, but huge kills there coming for the offense, and they're ready to shine.
Yeah, and look at that. It is going to be Serto on the offense, able to finally get a lot of kills their way, and combined with the Primal Rage you mentioned from Catsick. And that's going to be finally rolling into point B if they can clear it out for the time being. Just Fat Chop trying to get back and contest, but it is just pretty much already written that they're going to get this point B.
Well, at least a lot of time burned there from the defense at the very end. Very successful defense, I should say. 1.5 down to get to the final phase here of Blizzard World, as we already know that Serto have won the series here in this map 5 from the successful offensive push where UG Red were not able to even capture the point to push the payload forward. So let's see what kind of distance Serto can make before we end the series. UG Red will be setting up onto this high ground where Serto are just going to be focusing on pushing the payload and meeting them thereafter.
60 seconds remaining.
Again, they're putting Rhino back onto the sight lines behind all of the shields, but a lot of the damage is being still landed. Serto able to put in it from a distance, despite the fact that a lot of their damage is about being dive at this moment. And even sending in the self-destruct is able to take out CAD6, so stifling the offense for at least the time being. But a lot of ultimates already committed here. They're bringing back the rest of the team. They know it's 30 seconds left to go. They want to make it count right now.
Oh, they even bring out the Soundbird, and they have to use the Valkyrie for that little bit of a mistake there from Catsick, who gets caught from the self-destruct, although he even bubbles it. They send out the self-destruct from the offense, but here is the Dragon Blade from Smagic, chopping up the Fat Chop, who I think was on the tac visor at the time, now chasing the rest of the team. However, the tanks here from the defense have been holding on to the payload strong. Even the Primal Rage comes out to keep Scooty protected, still gets demech nonetheless. But all these ultimates invested here for the offense, they've completely burned through the 1.5 they had to push through. Now into overtime, they need to play this perfectly, just chase down the last couple tanks, and this reinforcements need to come in for UG Red.
Yeah, and this might be enough time that the defense should be able to get back to the point, at least briefly. But no, Fat Chop gets taken out completely from Catsick and the jump damage. And that will be rolling into the end. UG Red will be losing this set, thanks to Blizzard World on map 5.
Thanks, Blizzard.
Thanks.
Thanks, Obama. Very successful tour there for Serto. We actually got to see the full map and be a little bit worried if defense was too easy to play, because obviously I think this map is heavily defensive favored, at least for the capture point. And Serto proved us wrong with pretty much a pretty quick 1-minute capture there. But Ben, what are your final thoughts there onto Blizzard World?
I mean, definitely that first Ungentleman Red attack was quite disorganized, to say the least. They just didn't really seem to have a game plan. They didn't know what they were doing. They were just, oh, let's go in and fight and look at some pretty scenery while we're doing it. But on this defense, they really sort of molded up like, hey guys, we're gonna do this. We're gonna at least hold. Which they didn't, but they brought it into overtime, which... good enough. If they'd managed to take it there before, then they would have gotten a second round with them having time and the other team wouldn't have. So it probably would have worked out in their favor if they hadn't been so busy looking at that scenery in the first push.
That's true. Yeah, it seemed like they had the advantage of seeing how an attack could go the second time around because they were on the attack second. But at the same time, the defense, they also had for UG Red, they had the first time, they had the attack first, so they saw how defense works on the first time. So it's like, kind of goes both ways.
Yeah, definitely. So any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that UG Red were able to bring this to map 5 after being down 0-2, I mean, it was almost a reverse sweep.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
Yeah.
Just a huge struggle on the Blizzard world, and Certo really setting themselves apart with, although it was, like you mentioned, Ben, that UG Red, we thought they were going to win because they had a pretty good showing onto Eichenwald, but with this new map of Blizzard world, you can tell Certo were way more practice on this offense.
Yeah, I definitely would have thought Ungentleman Red would have taken that. And I still back up what I say. Like, yeah, they should have. And I'm like sort of surprised they didn't. But yeah, that's just the practice comes in. Maybe they weren't as practiced enough. I don't know. I believe that's gonna be all of it from us here, folks. Thank you for tuning in to Broadcast.gg Road to Open Division show matches. If you want to join our Discord, you could do that little !Broadcast.gg in a Twitch chat, get an invite to this Discord, and you can do what these lovely people have done here today, or what I've done here today. So, without further ado, thank you. Have a good night.
Bye!
Bye.
You